Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now. The Cleveland Browns drama just reached a whole new level, and this time it's not coming from social media or anonymous sources. Jeudy, the team's #1 wide receiver, just had a moment with the media that's revealing way more about what's really happening inside that locker room than anyone expected. We're talking about visible frustration, barely contained anger, and some truth bombs about Shedeur Sanders that are making everyone realize this situation in Cleveland is even messier than we thought. What Jeudy said, and more importantly how he said it, is sending shockwaves through the NFL world right now, and I'm about to break down every single detail of this explosive moment that has everyone talking. Let me start by saying I almost missed this entire situation yesterday because so much stuff was happening around Shedeur Sanders all at once. The news cycle around this kid has been absolutely relentless, with new developments, hot takes, and controversy popping up every few hours. It's genuinely hard to keep up with everything that's transpiring in Cleveland, but I'm catching you up right now on what might be the most important development yet. Jeudy, who has already made headlines for his visible frustration about not getting the ball, just gave us a window into what's really going on behind the scenes, and trust me, you're going to want to hear every word of this. Jeudy has firmly planted himself in the center of the conversation surrounding the Browns' quarterback situation. During his media availability yesterday, something happened that you don't see very often from NFL players who are usually trained to give diplomatic, politically correct answers to every question. Jeudy was clearly frustrated, and he made absolutely no effort to hide it. Now, part of his frustration probably stems from his own performance in recent games. He's had some rough outings, games where he just didn't show up the way a #1 receiver needs to show up. And here's the thing, moving into this weekend's game, Jeudy better not be thinking that kind of performance is going to fly anymore. Jeudy is about to become Shedeur Sanders' #1 target, whether he's ready for it or not. Shedeur loves to throw the football. That's what he does. That's what he's always done. And that's what he wants to do. The problem is, the Browns' wide receiver core is hit or miss on their best days, and everyone knows it. When Cleveland takes the field this weekend, you better believe opposing defenses are going to bring the house at Jeudy. We're talking first-tier coverage, man-to-man zone, double teams, bracket coverage, you name it, and they're going to throw it at him. Defensive coordinators are going to game plan specifically to take Jeudy away and force other Browns receivers to beat them. That's the reality Jeudy is facing right now. So, when Jeudy sat down to speak with the media yesterday, he clearly had some things on his mind. He made it his business to tell it like it is. No sugarcoating, no corporate speak. Just raw honesty about what he's seeing and experiencing. The clip of this interaction is absolutely worth watching because you can feel the frustration radiating off of Jeudy with every word. A reporter asked him about Kevin Stefanski's announcement that Shedeur Sanders is going to get all the first-team reps this week and wanted to know how important this week of practice is going to be for the offense and specifically for Jeudy to develop chemistry with Shedeur. Jeudy's response was simple and direct. He said it's going to be very important. Okay, that's a pretty standard answer. Nothing controversial there. But then the reporter pushed further, asking what Jeudy has seen from Shedeur, acknowledging that Jeudy doesn't really get to watch much practice and that Shedeur hasn't seen many reps over the past few months. The reporter asked if Jeudy noticed Shedeur looking more comfortable on that last drive in the previous game, whether anything changed, what Jeudy picked up on. And here's where you could see Jeudy's frustration starting to show. He gave a brief answer about Shedeur consistently growing and mentioned that having multiple reps is what made the difference on that last drive. The reporter kept going, asking about a specific catch Jeudy made for a first down, about the effort to extend the play and the drive, whether that shows the hunger the team has to close out games when they've been so close so often. Jeudy gave another short answer about needing to finish games. You can tell at this point that he's not really engaging with these questions the way reporters probably wanted him to. Then came the question that apparently pushed Jeudy over the edge. The reporter, acknowledging that they ask this every time the Browns switch quarterbacks, wanted to know if there's a way to fast forward the process of developing timing and chemistry with a new quarterback. And Jeudy's response was absolutely perfect in its simplicity and its obvious frustration. He said, "No, you just need reps. That's it, you need reps. There's no shortcut. There's no magic formula. There's no way to artificially accelerate the process. You need repetitions, practice time, throws, routes, communication, all the things that build chemistry between a quarterback and a receiver." But the way Jeudy said it, the tone in his voice, the look on his face, all of it screamed that he was absolutely fed up with the situation. He seemed genuinely angry that Shedeur Sanders hasn't been getting the reps he needs. And I've been telling people for months now that there's trouble brewing in that Cleveland locker room surrounding Kevin Stefanski. There has been locker room drama, tensions building, frustrations mounting, and Jeudy just became the first player to really break character and let us all see what's happening behind closed doors. Jeudy is basically telling us in no uncertain terms that Shedeur Sanders hasn't been getting reps. How is this team supposed to win games when the quarterback isn't getting practice time with the first team? This isn't about whether Shedeur is better than Dillon Gabriel. This isn't about how well Shedeur performed in his limited action on Sunday. This is about building a relationship, developing chemistry, getting the repetitions necessary to function as a cohesive offensive unit. And none of that has been happening for Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. If you're not in position to properly prepare your quarterback, how can you possibly expect to turn the season around? That's what Jeudy is getting at here, and it's a completely valid point. This is why I keep saying that this upcoming game against the Raiders really isn't as important as some people are making it out to be. Yes, every NFL game matters. Yes, the Browns need to win. But in terms of evaluating Shedeur Sanders and determining his future, this game is not a fair measuring stick, not even close. Shedeur has had 1 week of preparation for this game. 1 week. That's it. He hasn't been getting first-team reps throughout the season. He hasn't been building chemistry with his receivers over months of practice. He hasn't been taking the majority of the snaps in meetings and walkthroughs. Jeudy just confirmed all of that for us. Everything is off because Shedeur hasn't been getting the reps he needs. It's really that simple. All the questions reporters are asking, all the analysis and breakdowns and hot takes, they all lead back to one fundamental problem. Shedeur Sanders hasn't been getting the reps, and you can't succeed in the NFL without them. Stephen A. Smith weighed in on this situation this morning, and while I respect Stephen A., I have to disagree with parts of his take. Stephen A. said that this Sunday's game is absolutely a make-or-break moment for Shedeur Sanders' future with the Cleveland Browns. He acknowledged it might not determine Shedeur's entire NFL future because another team might give him a second chance. But in terms of his future in Cleveland specifically, Stephen A. believes this Sunday is everything. He said Shedeur cannot look like trash, cannot complete just 25% of his passes, cannot look lost and completely discombobulated. But here's where I push back on that analysis. A week is not long enough to build chemistry. If you've ever played football at any level, you know this fundamental truth. A week of practice, even if you're getting all the first-team reps during that week, is not sufficient time to develop the timing, communication, and chemistry needed for an offense to function at a high level. Sure, Shedeur has had enough time to prepare for the game itself, to learn the game plan, to understand the Raiders' defense. But building chemistry, that takes months, not days. This is why training camps start in May, June, and July. This is why teams go through organized team activities and mini-camp and preseason games. It's all about getting those reps, building that chemistry, developing that comfort level where the quarterback and his receivers are on the same page without even having to think about it. Dillon Gabriel was getting those reps to be the second-string quarterback behind Joe Flacco. He was being groomed, prepared, getting ready. Shedeur Sanders has gotten none of that. We won't truly know how good Shedeur is going to be with the Browns until he's named the starter and given a full offseason and training camp to work with the first-team offense. That might not happen until next year, and that's just the reality of the situation. It sucks that this is the hand Cleveland has been dealt. It sucks for Shedeur that he's being thrown into this situation without proper preparation. It sucks for Jeudy and the other receivers who are trying to build chemistry with a quarterback they've barely practiced with. This entire situation is dysfunctional from top to bottom, and Jeudy's frustrated media session yesterday confirmed what many of us have suspected all along. Stephen A. Smith did make some excellent points in his commentary, though, particularly about the Browns organization itself. He said he doesn't believe Shedeur was put in a position to succeed the other day, and he doesn't believe Shedeur has been put in a position to succeed with the Cleveland Browns in general. Stephen A. views the Browns as a house divided, whether it's the offensive coordinator and head coach having a different view than the general manager and owner, or some other internal dysfunction. He admitted he doesn't know exactly what's going on, but he can clearly see that collectively, the organization is not doing everything they can to ensure Shedeur's success. Stephen A. made it clear that he has tremendous respect for Kevin Stefanski, calling him a two-time Coach of the Year who knows what he's doing. But Stephen A. also said there's no way you can send a quarterback out there looking that lost, without any cadence, without any reps whatsoever with the first team. And Stephen A. doesn't think that's an accident. He believes, based purely on what he's observed, that something else is going on behind the scenes. He's not reporting insider information, he's not claiming to have sources within the Browns organization, he's simply watching what's happening and calling it like he sees it. And what he sees is a talented quarterback who looked completely inept in his first real opportunity. And Stephen A. thinks that's by design more than by accident. The good news, according to Stephen A., is that Shedeur is now getting those reps because Kevin Stefanski has committed to him as the starter for this weekend. Now we're going to see what Shedeur can actually do when given proper preparation time. Stephen A. isn't saying Shedeur has to go out there and look like a star or put up MVP numbers. But he cannot look completely clueless. He cannot look lost. He cannot replicate the struggles we saw last weekend and still expect to have a future in Cleveland. That's what Stephen A. believes is on the line right now for Shedeur Sanders. Here's my take on all of this. Jeudy's frustrated media session yesterday was one of the most revealing moments we've had in this entire saga. When a player drops the professional facade and starts giving you real, unfiltered answers, that's when you learn the truth about what's happening inside an organization. And the truth is that Shedeur Sanders has been set up to fail in Cleveland. He hasn't gotten the reps, he hasn't built the chemistry with his receivers, he hasn't been given the preparation time that every quarterback needs to succeed at this level. Now, with 1 week of first-team reps under his belt, Shedeur is expected to go out and prove he deserves to be the franchise quarterback? That's not fair. That's not reasonable. And Jeudy knows it, which is why he looked so frustrated trying to explain this simple concept to reporters who keep asking the same questions, expecting different answers. There is no way to fast-forward the process of building chemistry. You need reps. That's it. That's the answer. And Shedeur hasn't gotten them until now. The upcoming game against the Raiders is important. Of course, every NFL game is important. But anyone claiming this game will definitively prove whether or not Shedeur Sanders can be a franchise quarterback is being ridiculous. This game will show us what Shedeur can do with 1 week of preparation as the starter. That's all it will show us. To truly evaluate Shedeur, he needs to be named the starter for the rest of the season at minimum. He needs a full off-season program where he's the unquestioned #1 guy, and he needs the organization to commit to building around him and putting him in position to succeed. Jeudy is going to be absolutely crucial to Shedeur's success or failure moving forward. As the #1 receiver, Jeudy needs to step up and be reliable, make the catches he's supposed to make, win his individual battles against defensive backs. If Jeudy continues to play inconsistently and drop passes or run poor routes, it's going to make Shedeur's job exponentially harder. But if Jeudy can elevate his game and be the receiver Shedeur needs him to be, that could change everything for this offense. The relationship between quarterback and #1 receiver is sacred in football. Think about all the great duos throughout NFL history: Montana and Rice, Manning and Harrison, Brady and Gronkowski, Mahomes and Kelsey. These partnerships are built on trust, communication, chemistry, and countless repetitions. Shedeur and Jeudy haven't had the opportunity to build that yet, and that's a massive problem. 1 week of practice isn't going to create that kind of connection, but it's at least a start, and hopefully the beginning of something that continues to develop over time. The Browns organization needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and figure out what they're doing at the quarterback position. Are they committed to Shedeur Sanders as their future? If yes, then give him the full support, the reps, the game plan, and the weapons he needs to succeed. If no, then be honest about it and move in a different direction. But this wishy-washy, half-committed approach where they're not really setting anyone up for success is helping nobody. It's not fair to Shedeur. It's not fair to the players around him like Jeudy. It's not fair to the coaches. And it's certainly not fair to the fans who keep showing up and hoping for something better. Kevin Stefanski has some serious questions to answer about how he's handled this quarterback situation. As a two-time Coach of the Year, he's clearly a talented coach who knows the game. But the lack of reps for Shedeur, the apparent division within the organization, the inconsistent messaging, all of it reflects poorly on the head coach who's supposed to be leading this team. Stefanski needs to take control of this situation, make clear decisions, and create an environment where his quarterback can actually succeed. The next few weeks are going to tell us a lot about the Cleveland Browns and about Shedeur Sanders. Will Shedeur take advantage of finally getting first-team reps and show flashes of the talent that made him such a highly regarded prospect? Will Jeudy step up and be the #1 receiver this offense desperately needs? Will Kevin Stefanski and the coaching staff commit to developing Shedeur properly? Or will this entire situation continue to be the dysfunctional mess it's been all season long? One thing is for certain. Jeudy's frustrated media session yesterday opened a lot of eyes to what's really happening in Cleveland. When a player is that openly frustrated and willing to call out the lack of reps for his quarterback, it tells you everything you need to know about how the locker room feels. The players know Shedeur hasn't been set up for success. They know he hasn't gotten the preparation time he needs. And they're frustrated about it, just like fans should be frustrated about it. This situation is far from over, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more drama unfold in Cleveland over the coming weeks. The Browns are a team in crisis, searching for answers at the most important position in football, dealing with internal dysfunction and external criticism. How they handle this moment will define their franchise for years to come. Will they commit to Shedeur Sanders and give him a real chance? Or will they continue this pattern of dysfunction that's plagued Cleveland for decades? Jeudy just gave us a glimpse behind the curtain, and what we saw wasn't pretty. But at least now we know the truth. Shedeur Sanders hasn't been getting reps, and you can't succeed in the NFL without them. It's that simple. Now let's see if the Browns organization finally figures that out and gives their young quarterback the support he deserves. Make sure you drop a comment below and let me know what you think about Jeudy's frustrated response to that reporter. Do you think Jeudy is right to be frustrated? Is the Browns organization setting Shedeur Sanders up to fail? What do you expect to see from Cleveland this weekend against the Raiders? I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions on this developing situation. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any breaking news on Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns, or any other major NFL storylines. Turn those notifications on because I've got even more stories cooking up that I'll be dropping later today. Until next time, shake those haters off and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.